Welcome back to the War Room, where we are putting World in Flames 5th edition together with Days of Decision 3 with duct tape and chewing gum. We are entering January-February 1939 in a world that grows more dangerous with each passing turn. Last session brought no great thunderclap of war in Europe, but it brought something more ominous. Preparations. In Rome, Italian diplomats reached out towards Poland, trying to loosen Poland from Germany's orbit, and they failed by the narrowest of margins. And that was it for the political turn. So the rest of November, December was devoted to military maneuvers. Germany forces, the Wehrmacht continued their steady advancement east. Britain and France answered with movements of their own, ships shifting across the seas, troops edging towards critical approaches, each government arming while being cautious. In Asia, it was good weather, but Japan found little profit in this good weather. Its armies, disordered from earlier fighting, was forced to spend the season regrouping rather than striking a decisive new blow in China. And Chinese forces, battered but unbroken, gained a brief and precious breathing space. And across the Pacific, the United States tightened the economic screws on Tokyo, freezing Japanese assets and sharply reducing the flow of vital materials. No shots fired, but the effects will slow the Japanese war machine. And that is where we begin tonight. Germany is stronger, Poland is uneasy, Britain and France alert, Japan frustrated, China still standing, and the world stepping into 1939. And we will go straight to... Yeah, this is the European map here. And you will notice the situation in Asia with a fragmented front line, to say the very least. Japanese are across the Yellow River, but the Chinese are not finished yet. But we start with, as always, political affairs. And as always, I have already prepared the bids. January, February 1939. A lot of powers can gear up now. And that is going to be reflected in how the various powers have bid. So, the USSR does something for once. It bids 9 points, plus 1 is 10 in total. Germany puts down 5 points, which is all it has, plus 3, that's 8 in total. The Commonwealth puts down 4, plus 3 is 7. France puts down 4, plus 2 is 6. The US puts down 5, plus 1 is also 6, which is going to be behind France because of political effectiveness. Italy puts down a single point, plus 4 for its position, gives it 5 in total. Japan also puts down a single point, plus 2 is 3 in total, and China a single point, plus 0. So remains last. So this will be our new order, with the USSR for once going first. The USSR has not been terribly active, very internationally passive, if you will. And as a result, it now has 30 bid points banked, if you will, which goes down to 21, of course, after this bid. And the USSR will play, very unexpectedly, a new 5-year plan. The Soviet government has announced a renewed expansion of heavy industry, signaling that the Kremlin intends to answer the mounting instability abroad with steel, machinery, and mass production on an even greater scale. Officials in Moscow describe the measure as a continuation of Soviet Union's long-term economic program, but few observers doubt its military significance. With Europe growing more dangerous by the month, and tensions in Asia still unresolved, The Soviet leadership appears determined to ensure that future conflicts will find the Red Army better equipped than ever before. The move reflects a characteristic Soviet calculation. Avoid unnecessary entanglements for now, build relentlessly at home, and prepare for the day when events beyond Russia's border can no longer be ignored. This will cost the Soviet Union 10 rubles. It has 6 in the bank, so it's going to go down to -4. And the production multiple will go up to a half, which means that half the factories are now producing instead of a quarter. So that gives us 9, right? 9 in production per turn. So that's quite the jump. But this will undoubtedly have reactions, face reactions from abroad. The US entry goes up by 10. And that is not the first time the Soviets have provoked comments, shall we say, negative comments from US senators and members of Congress, mostly senators because they are the ones who deal with foreign policy. So now we have a base US entry of 22, a modified US entry of -29 for the Soviets, which actually results in a -5 for Germany, a -18 for Italy, and 18 for Japan. And there will be reactions from other countries as well, of course. So let's have a look. Austria, a -1. It is not a common thing to see the Soviets affect European... Well, Austria doesn't exist anymore. Austria is kaput. Remember that Anschluss? Yeah, I don't need coffee, you do. What do we have? Baltic states -2 for unknown reasons. Not that they count towards much in this particular edition of the game, because they have neither resources nor defenses. Bulgaria +2. So, Russians and Bulgarians, historically close, of course. Regardless of whether there's a Tsar or a Premier in Moscow. Czechoslovakia doesn't exist anymore. Denmark does, so that's a -1. Yeah, I think the entire neighborhood around the Soviet Union might be affected by this. Finland a -2, inexplicably. Could it have something to do with past history between these two countries? Maybe. With that one. That was Finland -2. What else do we have here? Hungary -1. Iraq -1 as well. Hungary -1. Iraq. Ah, look at that. We'll have a change here. Ah, okay. Well, after we do that. Clone, please. -2 in Iraq. Norway -1, Persia -1. So Persia will be also a -2 there. Norway a -1. And then we have Romania Poland -2, Romania -2. Poland -2, Romania -2, which nets a -3 to Romania. Perhaps not terribly surprising, given past history of those two countries. And I did that again. And of course, the Polish reaction is also to be expected. And that is a -3 to Romania right there. We'll put it right in Bucharest because we can. What else do we have here? Spain is a +1. Spain, still no civil war. There is, unbeknownst to everyone else... Why do I keep making that mistake today? There is, unbeknownst to anyone else in the world at the moment, in fact, French coup cell in Madrid still. French have yet to activate it. Sweden a -2. Just do this one instead. Here we go. Not quite enough to get Sweden moving out of the neutral zone, but still a palpable reaction from the Swedish government. Turkey -2. Yugoslavia +2. Turkey -2. That puts us to a -3 in Turkey, which may well be important for later. And +2 in Yugoslavia. Alright, so what minor country might the Soviet Union want to activate? A +2 to Yugoslavia is lovely, except Yugoslavia is in fact allied with France. Should be allied with the Soviet as well. Don't know why I can't see the Soviet. Oh, there it is. Yeah. But because it is allied with France, if it moves away from France, it requires 3 points in total. Let's see. Would it move away from France? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It would not. So it's possible to move it to the middle here between these two countries. Turkey a -3. We have a lot of countries here that are on the verge of moving. We don't particularly... Oh, Turkey's here. Yeah, no, we don't want to move Turkey at all. Persia and Iraq are in the middle. That could be worth moving just to make sure they don't move out of the center. Same goes for Finland, really. Look at it, -2. Or Sweden, indeed. Sweden has the added bonus of activating Sweden had the added bonus of removing the -2 to the Commonwealth. Yeah, I think we'll activate Sweden here, because that way we'll make sure that Sweden stays neutral. Soviet diplomats invite the Swedish government to, I don't know, it's January, February. How about a ski resort in northern Sweden to feast and convince the Swedes to not be unnerved. It's simply a defensive measure. A defensive measure, that's all it is. Yes, indeed, sir. It's just a defensive measure. And so the Swedish government is calmed and will not be reorienting its international outlook anytime soon. We will now roll to see if the turn ends, and it will on a 1 or a 2. And we roll a 3, so it doesn't end. Germany is up. Germany would have been very sad if it ended. Germany. Well, Berlin orders a full economic mobilization. Double oil production. Strength through strength. And since Germany got to play its option, it has to pay those 5 bid points, which puts it down to 0 again. And also 10 money, which puts it down to 1 money. But the production multiple goes up to a 3, which means that we have now 9 factories. Yeah, it could produce for 27. So its production actually only goes up to 19. It has the 19 resources. It needs more resources to feed the factories now. That is what Germany needs. Germany will because of this, also affect the United States. 10 extra US entry to Germany. So the US Congress takes note. We will make a note of that here. It will go up to a base of 41, which means a modified of +5. An effective US entry of +5, which is quite the leap. To Germany. -13 to Italy. 12, actually. Rounded up. 23 to Japan. That is a quarter of the way towards war, ladies and gentlemen. And there will also be international reactions to this, of course. Germany gearing up military production. Austria doesn't exist anymore. There are Baltic states, and they go +2. So we now have a +4 in the Baltic states. Not sure exactly how much effect that will have on the game in the future, but yeah, I think the Baltic states will consider Germany a friend against the big communist government to the east. We have Belgium at a -3. Well, that can't be anybody's surprise. Any surprise in any way. Belgium is now at a -8 against Germany, which is basically frothing fury. It just hasn't been activated by anyone yet. But whenever the Allies want to activate Belgium, it's gonna jump. Czechoslovakia doesn't exist. Denmark a -1, a much calmer reaction than Belgium's, but nonetheless a reaction. So I'm gonna do that one, put that one here, at a -2. Denmark, as you all recall, was not involved in the Great War, so maybe they think they can be spared this time. +1 to Finland. Just not quite enough to get Finland moving. We need that extra -1 to the Soviets. Hungary, another +1. I think there's a lot of pluses in Hungary, isn't there? Yeah, +3 at the moment. That will yield a total of +4 in Hungary. So when the German government decides to have a chat with Hungary, I think it's going to be fairly easy to convince them to join forces. Ireland a +1 as well. Oh, would you look at that? Ireland is now at a +2 to the German government, and a -2 to the Commonwealth, and so on. -1 to the Netherlands and to Norway. The Netherlands have not had reason to react to Germany for a while, or at least not, maybe they were activated recently, I don't remember. -1 to Norway, we said. Norway is kind of a little bit grumpy with everybody at this moment. There's too much warlike stuff. -1 to Poland. Well then. We don't have more than -1 to Germany at the moment in Poland. Maybe they're convinced that that military buildup is just an exercise. Sweden -1, Turkey +1. And Turkey +1. That will be that. Alright. Germany is to activate a minor country. I would like to activate Turkey, but it would only go the one step away from the Soviets, and then it would stall. So we're gonna play it cool here. We're not gonna activate them yet. What else do we have? Activate that. It's not going to have any difference. Bulgaria is in the middle. Romania could be profitable to activate. Where's Romania now? It's right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, it would move technically away from France, I guess. But the +2 to Germany would be wasted, so let's not do that. What else do we have? Finland is not, you know, angry with the Soviets yet to move them. Shall we have a look at Ireland? Ireland is out of the neutral zone. It's not going to be very straightforward, though, is it? It's just going to kind of swim back and forth a bit. Let's see. The +2 to Germany would move it on top of Turkey, I guess. The -2 to the Commonwealth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, if we start with the +2 to the US, it would end up not moving because this costs 3, right? And then we take the 2 to... yeah. To Germany. And move it there. Or here. Thing is, if I can move it there... And now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Boom. Ireland is like one step outside the fascist camp. I guess that is decent enough. It's the only meaningful... What's going on here? Where's Siam? Why is it on the border like that? Anyway, that's the only meaningful movement of any of the neutral countries that we can see from a German activation. So let's see if the turn ends. That is not the roll, of course. The roll comes now. The turn does not end, which means that the Commonwealth gets a chance to play an option. Well, the British government has begun a broad program of economic mobilization, marking one of the clearest signs yet that London no longer believes the present crisis can be managed by diplomacy alone. Ministers continue to speak publicly of peace, deterrence and stability, but behind those words lies a more practical recognition. Britain must expand its productive capacity now if it's to face the dangers that may lie ahead. Rearmament, once cautious and uneven, is becoming more systematic. The move does not commit Britain to war, but it does suggest that Whitehall has concluded that the time for merely observing events on the continent is drawing to a close. In other words, Britain gears up, like so many others. It's going to go to a production multiple of 3. And we have the 7 factories, which means a 21 total production, provided they have the resource, and lo and behold, they do. That is a serious jump in productive capacity right there. This will have effects. Many effects. First of all, 10 money. And how much did we say in bid points? We said 4 bid points out of the 8 that the Commonwealth had banked. And 10 money out of the... okay, so -7 money at the moment. The Commonwealth will have to move itself out of the deficit, but it will do so very promptly. This being the case, it will also activate the Americans. I think the American Congress right now is basically schizophrenic with all these moves to mobilize militaries across the world. That's the Soviet. That's the three camps. Each power is in one of the separate ideological camps. Have now done this. We add 9 to the Commonwealth US entry, which will make it a base of 30. So there, and that will take down the US entry to Germany down to an effective 1. Italy an effective -17. Japan an effective 19. And the same for the USSR as before. And then we'll see what other effects we have. Belgium a -2. Where am I doing? There we go. Belgium a -2. Belgium does not like being squeezed by all the major powers who are doing these actions here. That is for sure. And we will flip that 1 to a -1. We have Czechoslovakia plus doesn't exist anymore. Finland +1. Finland likes what it's seeing. I mean, Finland will go to any port in a storm, and the storm is the Soviet Union, so that makes sense. Iraq a +1. Oil deals for everyone. Okay, that means that we're now at a +2 for Iraq. And then we'll have Netherlands. No, there we go. Iraq +1. Ireland -2. Ooh. Could have gained another move out of this from the Germans. Well, it would have not gotten across the border to the Axis camp. Yet. Netherlands also a -2. Now, recall that Netherlands is in fact guaranteed by the Commonwealth, so this type of reaction. But who likes a war? Like, that is... maybe the Polish are more realistic about this situation and go +2. Because we can all see what's happening on the Polish border right now, can't we? Persia +1. Persia is so close to moving out of the neutral zone. Needs one more negative to the Soviets or one more positive to the Commonwealth. Romania a +1. What else do we have here? Siam a -2. Well, Japan will be very happy with that. Very happy with that indeed. That is kind of what Japan... well, the -1 is, I guess, what Japan needs to get Siam to finally join up properly. Line up properly. Spain -1. Sweden -1 and Turkey -1. Sweden is always negative when someone mobilizes their military. So, which minor country might we want to activate for the benefit of the Commonwealth and the democracies of the world? Could activate Romania. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then the +2 to Germany would be nullified because it's allied with France. Yeah, I think that's the move. I think that's a pretty good idea. Though, let's have a look at Poland as well. Where is Poland right now? Oh, Poland is right square in the middle here of everything. So, none of this will move Poland in any meaningful way for the Allies at the very least. Well, I guess Romania it is. It's actually probably the best idea here. Just getting Romania as far away from the Germans is a good strategic move. So, it's gonna move one step like that. The step towards, and then that's it. The step towards Germany will not go anywhere because it requires one more point to move away from France. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Are you kidding me? Okay, so then we play it the other way around. First the +2 to Germany, now it can't move anywhere. And then the -3 to the Soviets, and then it moves over there. And then nothing from the +1 to the Commonwealth. Alright, we will go to see if the turn ends. 3 gear ups so far. This was entirely expected, folks, because, you know, it's gear up time. Let's see what happens now. Well, look at that. We go on to France, who also gets a chance to play. France has, like the Commonwealth, bid 4 points to do its action. And unlike the Commonwealth, that was exactly all the bid points France had. Alright, France can also gear up. France, well, Paris expands defense budget as tensions mount. The French government has approved a major increase in defense expenditure, adding French urgency to the rearmament effort as the strategic position of France continues to deteriorate. The disappearance of Czechoslovakia, the strengthening of Germany, and the uncertain outlook in Eastern Europe have all sharpened the mood in Paris. What had once been debated as a matter of prudence is now increasingly treated as a matter of necessity. French officials present the measure as a safeguard for national security rather than a prelude to war. Even so, the underlying message is unmistakable. France intends to be better prepared for the next crisis than it was for the last. So that will cost France 8 money. And it had 6, so it's down to -2. The gear up puts it to a 2. And because it has 12 factories and 9 resources, we're going to be at 9 production per turn. There you have it. I think France should make a deal with the British soon to get some more resources. Alright. Defense up 12 billion francs. Alright, this is 1939, and that's going to be a 9 in US entry towards France. France has not provoked a lot of reactions from Washington over this game so far, but that did provoke some reaction. And it means that Germany is now at a -4 of net US entry, Italy has a -21, and Japan is at a 14. In the minds of senators and the White House, I suppose, most of the senators in Congress, Europe is quite capable of taking care of its own problems, clearly. Let's see how this affects European politics, foreign politics among the miners. A -2 to Belgium. See, Belgium doesn't like when everybody's gearing up. Just no. Like, literally everybody around them, except the Netherlands, because they're a minor country, has been gearing up. Not cool. Czechoslovakia doesn't exist. Hungary a -1. We haven't seen a lot of French markers around here. Because France has been embroiled in its own political instability at home. France does need to hold an election this year, and so does the Commonwealth, by the way. Alright. Czechoslovakia, +2. That doesn't exist. I just said that. Iraq +1, though. Hungary's a -1, not a +1. What am I even doing? Flip. Ireland -2 and Netherlands -2 as well. Strong reactions here from the Western European countries, and not many of them positive. Poland, however, appreciates the efforts of the French government to keep the peace in Europe through strength. Of course, we can't move Poland anyway because Germany is still allied with them. Romania +1. Siam a -2. Oh, Japan is gonna love this. If Japan gets to do something, but probably not this turn. Spain -1 as well. Not sure why the Spanish Republic reacts like that to these news, but they do. Sweden a -1. At least they're consistent. And so is Turkey. So Turkey reacts the same way. Okay, they're not consistent because they went, you know, slightly towards Germany. Where did we have? Here we go. And Yugoslavia a +1. Which is logical because they are allies and, you know, good friends. So, what minor do we want to activate given this situation? The Netherlands are still in the middle. And they are close to getting very angry with the Commonwealth, but I don't know that it's really necessary here to, because the moment this thing between Germany and Poland kicks off, the Netherlands is going to be very angry with Germany. Though I suppose it's more effective if I activate the Netherlands now. Let's see, where do we have Belgium in this? Belgium is right here. Yeah, that wouldn't be bad. Having Belgium fully aligned with one of the allies, where would Belgium end up? Let's have a look-see, shall we? -8 to Germany. That's a lot of minus. We need to get Belgium properly allied too, with one of the allied countries. So, -8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, the -1 to the Commonwealth and the -2 to France, we can just skip because it's not going to go out to the neutral zone. So we have a -8 to Germany alone. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, we said. This would be 9. -9, which is 1 point, -10, which is 1 more point, so that's -6 now, 11, and 12, and I think that's as far away as you can go from any country, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep, that's as far as you go. So it actually overshoots where we wanted Belgium to go, but that's okay, because the moment someone makes an alliance with Belgium, like France, Belgium is going to be right on top of France, so that's all good. So France, the French government conducts close conversations with the Belgian government, and the two have found that they are in fact having a lot in common. So a reorientation of Belgium's interests, very much in line with French. Not completely in sync just yet, but very closely so. Alright, what do we have now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 to 5, and the turn ends. And I rolled a 1, so the turn ends. The US does not get to play its option. And the US had bid. How much did I bid with the US? A lot, I think. 5. Ow. Very sad. Okay, that is 3 bid points out of the pool and 2 from the money. It will gain, however, some bid points thanks to political efficiency. 2. So it's back to 2 bid points. Italy bid low this time, a single point, so it gains 2 bid points net. Japan also bid the single point, has 2 political efficiency, so it will gain 1 bid point net, which was kind of the objective here. And China 1 for 1, as always. That concludes political affairs, and we now go into military affairs. Starting, of course, with reinforcements. That was a longer political turn than many we've had before, though it's still just half the countries that got to act. So, yeah, there you go. Alright, we'll have reinforcements in China. Japan gets 2 destroyer group, a set of hulls for destroyer group is going into the construction pool, so they can make the superstructure now. We have a 2nd tank army in the Soviet Union arriving. Where do we want to put that tank army, though? I think we're gonna put it in Vladivostok. You know, to keep the Japanese on their toes. Boom. Like that. And these guys are all going to the Pacific map as well, of course, because they are, in fact, Japanese and Chinese units. So, let's see. We have 1 communist army for the Chinese in Lanzhou. 1 nationalist army for the Chinese in Xi'an, for example. That's not a bad place to be right now, I think. Or Kunming, honestly. Nah, I think we'll play it in Xi'an. Place it in Xi'an, because that way we can boost the defenses here in the forest, provided we get the initiative. And then we'll have 2 Japanese armies here. Oh, look, a Soviet army as well that I didn't even notice that was there. Soviet infantry army. I'm gonna put that one in, how about Minsk? Some units in Eastern Europe will not go amiss. And then we have the European theater, as it were. We have another group of destroyer hulls laid down by the Commonwealth. They have a lot of those in the construction pool now. Might want to start actually converting them to actual destroyers before the war starts. The Commonwealth does get 2 infantry corps and wing of strategic bombers, and that wing of strategic bombers is dynamite, because look at that, it's an 8. I don't even know what kind of model that is. Is that like, I don't know. I can't remember my 4-engine bombers, sadly. So we have 2 transports here. Now we also have 2 Army Corps here. We have Wavell. We have... I'm gonna put... Why not put the strategic bombers in London as well? I have a good reach over Germany that way. Not that Germany and the Commonwealth would ever enter into open conflict, you know, God forbid, etc., etc. The Americans are also getting some destroyer hulls into the construction pool. This construction pool is very filled with naval hulls that are awaiting deployment and, you know, superstructures. We are getting an Italian armored unit and a German infantry corps. This is the Corazzata Italian tank unit and a 7-4 infantry corps. The German infantry corps. They go pretty good in Königsberg. Why not? It's nice in Königsberg this time of year, I hear. Some Prussians there. And that is all the units that enter the battlefield or the map this time. Let's roll for initiative, shall we? No pluses on either side. Both sides can ask for a reroll. Okay, that's an Axis win, and I think that the Allies want a reroll because China wants a reroll. Do the rest of the Allies accept this? At the moment, I don't think there's going to be a war with Poland next turn. For all sorts of reasons. So... yeah, okay, we can accept that. A reroll. Here we go. Well, that didn't help at all. Axis initiative. Axis impulse. Weather roll. A 1. Well, that is probably going to be terrible. 1 in January, February is the worst you can get, basically. Severe winter in the Arctic Circle and the Arctic. Winter in the temperate and even Mediterranean. Subtropical has clear. North monsoon has clear. South monsoon has monsoon. Only 1 attack is actually not the worst you can get. The 5 would have been the worst you could get. 1 attack is allowed in China, and the impulse marker will go 5 steps between the sides. Alright. Well, that weather is absolutely horrid. How do we say? Winter even in the Mediterranean. How often is there snow in the Mediterranean? Everybody's doing combines because we do not have a big war yet. But we do have some Italian tanks here who should really be in a better place. So we are going to move them out here with the Italian Navy. 1, 2, 3, 4, like so. I don't think we have anything much else to do there with the Italians. The Italians need more Air Force, clearly. The Italians need more of everything, but so does everyone else. Alright, what are we doing with the Germans? Not a whole lot to do. We could move this infantry corps up to the Prussian edge, as it were. Or should we move it into the forest? Sneaky, because then we can sneak around on the flank here and do some damage that way. It's just an exercise. There's no reason for you to fret, Poland. No reason at all. Yeah, that's basically it. That's the grand total of German moves right now. No reason to do anything else. Japan definitely has a lot of work to do. And not enough moves to do it. 2 naval moves, 3 land moves, as always. We're doing it combined, so let's go. Naval actions. We don't have any port attacks. We do have 2 core to move. So we're going to do just that. Question is where we want to go with them. The best weather right now is in the south, so maybe go there. Though nobody's particularly impeded by movement right now, but for attacking purposes, the south is definitely a better place to go. This is the North Monsoon Zone, and that is clear, so that's where we want to press the attack right now. So I guess we will take these 2 ships. 1, 2, 3, 4, like so. The 2 Japanese armies will step ashore with 1 move each out of the 3 possible in Canton. We have 1 more land move to make. And that's gotta be that one. There can't be anything else. Really. I would love to move this one up, but the 18th Army up, but the 6th Army standing here is so much more important. This is why the Chinese wanted to have the initiative, and they failed. So now we're going to have a lot of hexes on Xi'an, and that is going to be a bother. But Xi'an is well defended at this time, so maybe it won't be too bad. It's also winter, and nobody's going to attack on a -1 initiative shift. So that's that. What is this? It's the temperate zone. So again, it's a -1. Yeah, I think we're just gonna rebase these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, why not? Like that. Aircraft rebase. That's 1 aircraft rebase. I don't think they get more than 1. Do they? Japan 2, actually. Look at that. Well, we do have these guys that can rebase down here, so we can really press the attack. Where's our paratroop? Well, we'll get there. We'll get there. We need to rebase those guys. Strategic redeployment of 1 unit, which will go to Taiyuan here, I guess. Or is there any others? Wuhan is not in a zone of control, so we can actually send these guys here to Wuhan. We almost have a Japanese line again. Yay. Which means no movements up here, which is fine. The Metsu is still in Kyoto. Has not been able to move out there. Has been there how many turns? A lot of turns. And just not getting anywhere. Yeah, I think that is basically it for Japan. We're not going to attack this impulse because we just don't have any forces to attack with yet. We're getting there, but not this particular moment. What was subtropical? Was subtropical also clear? I think it might have been. Subtropical is clear, so yeah, that 8-4 will see some use. Alright, that's it for Japan. And for the Axis, so second side impulse. Allies. China will definitely move something. Like this 3-2 here. That's 1 move. And I guess we're gonna move this guy up into the mountains. Uh-oh, if we do that, we can't move that one. Because we don't want Chang to be all... So Chang moves down back to Changsha. That's one move. And then... Let's see now. Nobody can attack Chang at the moment, right? We have these guys here in Xi'an. They're gonna have to stay there. Lanzhou army will move up here to the mountains. We now have a communist line yet again. In fact, we might have to stretch that line a little bit. Like so. And this is for the purpose of closing the gap here later on. That's 2 Soviet land moves, though. Not, doesn't count towards the Chinese. Okay, so the exposed point here, though it's temperate, so okay, we're gonna have an attack happening down here because that's where the clear weather is, which means that we want to bulk up down here so we don't have all the forces there. And I only have 2 moves to do it. This is the eternal problem of the Chinese situation. Well, we'll move the 19th Army 1 step from Guiyang. The Yoke are, the 2nd Yoke are still standing here. And we just, are we moving Chang? I might move Chang down here, but so let's just 6. Like, why wouldn't Hata flip this guy at the end of the turn? Right? Like so, because then this guy can do some stuff. Or we keep Hata like that and flip this guy. And now that one is turned up by air resupply. And that would definitely cause China to move back 1 step. Flip. And then Chang would not be able to... Yeah, no, because then Chang will die. Okay, that changes everything. So... Chang would then have to move up here as well. But that's not cool, because then we get a gap in the line, and they can just infiltrate. But if we allow them to take Changsha, oh my. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Oh me, oh my. Maybe the better move is to move like that. Forest 3 points. Yeah, that is the better move. Now we have 8 points in defense in the forest. That's going to be much harder for the Japanese to get through, certainly in the winter. And that will allow me to move this one down here. Yep, that's the way to do it. We have 3 hexes on these guys, but 2 of the hexes are across the river, so they're pretty sturdy there. We have 14 against 5, which is not good in the winter. There's still a risk for a breakthrough there. 5 plus 8 is 13. Against 4 is 3 to 1. Not cool. 14 against 5 is not 3 to 1. But it would be with some air support. Even so, it's winter up here, so it's -1 on all the attacks. So for now, that line is going to hold. Alright, that is it for the Chinese moves. What do we have to do here? Not much, really. We can move a Soviet dude over there. The Soviets in Siberia are pretty much good where they're at. I have no particular reason to move anything. We moved a bunch of Chinese troops on the Soviet movement as well. And other than that, I want to keep the 2 British Corps in London for obvious reasons. But look at this, Britain does have some troops to move down there, so let's go. In Cairo we have 3 land moves, let's do that. So, okay. I'm gonna move the Gibraltar Corps here, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're gonna move the Navy, 1, 2, 3, 4. The transport ship is heading home towards London, because that's just sensible. Alright, so the French have no particular reason to move anything at the moment, and that is basically all she wrote. So we get a next impulse, Axis impulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because of January, February. Yep. So it might end immediately here. We'll see. Japan has 3 land moves and wants to press the attack somewhere, and it should be here in the Pacific. Of course it's in the Pacific. Here in southern China, where it's, you know, nice weather. Okay, what do we got? We have this 8-4 that can go 2 steps up to the 6-3. Let's go. Finally arriving at the front. That took a long time. We have a 5-3 that cannot arrive at the front. We have Ushijima that can arrive at the front, finally. Can remove this. We know that that's under. So that's 2 land moves. We can move. I mean, it's going to move either there. Okay, we're moving here. That is 3 land moves. That is all the land moves we get, as always. We have ground strikes that we can call in. I need 2 more impulses just to get troops up to the front line everywhere. This is 3 plus 14. 17, that's 3 to 1, which is nice. So let's ground strike these guys as much as we possibly can. There's no Chinese Air Force to bother us, so let's roll. It's a miss on the 1, and on the 2, it's also a miss because Japanese pilots don't know how to aim their bombs. So, flip, and flip, I guess. For now, wait, 1, 2, 3, that's better. Can't put them in the mountains, so I'll just have to put them there for now. So yeah, nothing happened there. Do we want to attack this impulse? We only have the 1, and right now we have 14 plus 3, 17. That's 3 to 1 on the assault table. I can get another 4 in on the attack. Next impulse, but there might not be a next impulse. If I get another 4 in on the attack, I'll have 14, 18 plus 3, 21. That's 4 to 1. That's much better odds. Okay, we wait. We wait, as much as I hate to say it, but we wait. Alright, anything else we want to do here? Italy will, of course, send the tank corps ashore in Tobruk. No reason to fret, Britain. No reason to fret. It's all fine. It's all good. What do we have here? We have Rommel, we have... Yeah, that's good. Looks pretty decent to me. Lots of Air Force. We have our paras ready to go. Fallschirmjäger. I don't really see much reason to move anything else at the moment. Everything is pretty much where Italy and Germany could want it to be, I think. So I guess that means that we're rolling to see if the action phase ends. Japan and everybody else waits with bated breath. It doesn't. The Allies get to go again. And that means China. Okay. Now China has a conundrum. If we put this 3-2 over here, that's definitely going to stop the Japanese from attacking. But then the Japanese can snake around here towards Kunming, which is not cool. Maybe just put this guy back in Kunming and what do we have? Well, we have more reinforcements coming in, so they can't. Well, they can still only move the one step. Yeah, we'll move this guy up here because that will make it much harder to attack. That's one step. On the other hand, I mean, we don't want them to attack in Xi'an either. It's bad, it's bad. Let's put Chang. No, Chang gets flipped if he goes up there. Let's put him in. Yeah, we'll need him there, won't we? Because look at all these guys here. So Chang is now in the forest. China still needs more production, but the Commonwealth has been supplying China with a lot of build points lately, and we'll keep doing so this turn, I believe, as well, because, you know, China needs it. China needs an air force, China needs more infantry, China needs more everything. It's just bad right now in China. But this unit can get down here, so we can, you know, stop the creep across the Yellow River, at least. That part is going to be locked down. It's a bit unfortunate that we don't have enough units to put some communists in Xi'an, but we don't. Shortening the lines is something that the Chinese definitely like to do. We're not going to give up this defensive position here because we do like these two river hexes as extra defense. Other than that, the Soviets don't really have much of anything to do at the moment. Are we going to prepare a winter war? If we do that, we're going to need an HQ and a lot more troops. But it's not impossible, you know. Alright, let's see if the turn ends. The Allies roll. It's going to be a 1 or a 2, and it does! Okay, China is celebrating madly in the streets, because the end of the action phase means that China did not get attacked this turn either by Japan. Japan has just not been able to catch up with the Chinese withdrawing Chinese lines. And that has been a great advantage for China right now. They have saved so many souls on that. Alright, we go to the partisan phase, which is 6. Greece, UK, Finland, France, Netherlands, France, Indochina, Philippines, and China. Well, China is, of course, a place where partisans can turn up. We have 1, 2... Oh no. they don't count. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 units that can suppress partisans there. Let's go. And they do. So partisan activity is negligible this time. US entry phase. It is 1939, which doesn't change the math for the US entry phase that much. Not until we hit the summer. So we have a war against one democracy for 1 year. So that's a +1. But it is a -1 because it's Japanese 6. So it's a just straight up D10. And we roll a 6. And the 6 means a +2, which is a no, it means a +1, which is a +2, because the president vetoed the Neutrality Act. And we're going to put that into Japan, of course, because we can. So Japan now has an effective US entry of, first of all, 79 base, effective 16. And that means an effective -3 against Germany and -20 against Italy. I think Congress considers Italy a non-entity at this point. They are no threat. Production phase. We're not actually going to do any new US actions against Japan. Everything is fine. See, this winter was just, you know, easy peasy. So, the US has not been able to gear up. Wants to gear up. Might want to, you know, spend some money to gear up next turn. Who knows? Gets 6 money. So, now we have 7. Let's see. What we need to do... May, June, 941 means it has... The keel has to be laid down May, June 39. So that's this year. And this one also. But that is something we don't have to consider right now. For all the rest of them, that's fine. Let's have a look here. This one has to be completed in November, December 41 is when we have to complete the superstructure. We are going to put a light surface ship into the production spiral, because that's what we do. Or should we do a transport? I think we need the light surface ship, honestly. We're gonna need a couple when the war breaks out here. Maybe we should actually put it... Let's put the superstructures down for 1 light surface ship. It's gonna be there. We're gonna use these as escorts. Maybe not that one. I want to use these as escorts on the Atlantic. Okay, so we only have very long-range guys here. Huh. Go figure. Okay, we'll build a new one from fresh here. That's the kind of ship I want to have. A 5. If they're gonna do escort duty, they don't need that much range. If they're just walking off the east coast, though I will say they might have other roles later on. But I feel like those 6s should probably be used in the Pacific. Pacific is a big place. So that is 1 ship, and we have 3 money left, and we built a ship. The Commonwealth. Okay, 21 production. That gives us +14. -6. That is going to China, because we're supporting the Chinese war effort here. So we have 8 money left. I don't know how much longer we can do that, mind you. January, February 1940. This one, oh, that has to go. The keel has to be let down. Stat here. So a battleship. What is 5 money? That is a lot of monies. Keel is being laid down here for the KGV and the Duke of York. Noble and big battleships. And let's see, do we have anything that needs to come in here? Not right now. We might want to get one of these destroyers soon onto the spiral, but before we do that, I'm actually going to build another infantry, I think, honestly, because let's face it, war is coming. We're also going to need to expand the fighter fleet sooner or later. We have a fighter on the way, though. So, yeah, another infantry. Oh, we don't have any more infantry to build. We have a bunch of armor to build, but that is not something that I can spend right now money on. Naval air is not bad. Also, 3 money. I don't want to do that. HQs. Do I want to add the pool? Maybe I do want to add the pool. Commonwealth. At any time, add all the units in number 2 above. The remaining non-British Commonwealth land and air units. Yeah, let's do that. I think it's time. That's like all of them, isn't it? 1 7-factor and 2 8-factor infantry, 1 9-factor armor. The Australian armor and all HG units are okay. So the Home Guard, the Australians are not supposed to be put in, nor are, so we can put in 2 8-factor inf. So this guy, really? Is this guy? No, not that guy. Okay. Okay, so these guys basically. Everybody except the Australian armored. Close it down. Let's do it. Canadians, New Zealanders, Indians. Not that one. And not that one. Okay, I don't think it's going to be the rest, right? Nope. These guys will remain in the pool. These guys will be added. There. Now we shuffle. And we draw 1. It's an Australian 5-4. Well, that's not the most useful unit ever at the moment, but it's something, you know, in case the Japanese do shenanigans. No aircraft. We had 1 ship and we had 1 infantry. There we go. France. -2 plus 9, 7 then. France has no fighters left to build. No. What is in the French pool? France. Nothing. Is it? Oh, yeah. That is for another edition. I guess we have a paratrooper. We have an air transport. We have 3 tactical bombers. Why not take a tactical bomber? I think that could be a pretty good thing. 5 money. There we go. Well, that was a pretty useless tactical bomber, honestly. but it was a tactical bomber. There we go. Soviet Union gets some money. Production 9. 5 now. Money. How much infantry do we have left? Lots of infantry. 8. How much infantry did we build last time? Nothing. Let's build an infantry. It's a speed bump. The 4th Soviet Army is very loyal to Stalin and absolutely useless. Not everybody has a rifle. Alright. That gives us to China, which has now 7 production. No, 4 production. Gets 7 actually, because thanks to the British support. And how much... I mean, we're obviously going to build 2 infantry, right? China builds 2 infantry. Very tempted to rebuild Mao. But right now, there's a lot of infantry left in this stack that we need to get out there. Well, I almost got excited, because I thought it was a white print, but it wasn't. Very sadly. But, slowly but surely, Chinese are building up their lines. Alright. What do we have for Germany? 19. We need a lot more resources in Germany to get the full potential of builds. We had 1 aircraft last time, 1 infantry. We have a lot of infantry to build. Mountain. You have fighters left to build. I have a decent amount. How many tactical bombers do I have? Don't know if I have enough of those. I think I have some tactical bombers on the way, maybe? 1. Terrible tactical bomber. Okay, that answers that. Let's build another tactical bomber. That's what they're for. Still not good for being German. Infantry is never a bad choice. So let's build 2 of those. There we go. That's what we like to see. Armor is fine too, isn't it? Submarines will be needed. Let's not forget. Okay, we'll build another sub. I think that's 4 money, isn't it? Yep. And I think I'm gonna stop there, because Germany has a lot of political shenanigans coming up, which nobody could possibly expect, of course. Submarine. Infantry. Where didn't I build 2? Oh, there it is. That was weird. Tactical bomber. I mean, better than the French, but that doesn't say much. Subs. 1. Italy. Production 7. 1 money. Now 8 money. we were building transports, and we're gonna need to build more transports because the Italian transport situation is kind of miserable. We also need infantry, so let's build one of each, which gives us 1 money left. And a transport, that is 7 in total, out of the Italian cash box. Look at that. France had to build this one. So let's do that then, I guess. 2, 3, 4, 5. Sadly. Good thing I caught it. Okay, some Italian builds. One transport. Ends up over here. And an infantry corps for Italy. That's 1 ship and 1 infantry. There we go. And finally, Japan. Production 11 per turn. 11 money. Needs all the infantry. November, December 1940. So November, December 38? No. November, December. It has to be in the construction pool. So November, December 1939, which is not yet. 41. That one has to be completed September, October 41. So it has to go on the spiral in later. So this one, okay. We have transports coming out. That is good. We do not have enough other stuff. Why not take the opportunity to build a naval air? Maybe. It's hard to make a decision right now. What are these guys? Oh. They're extras. Dear. There's also a lot of stuff in the repair pool. Like the Nagato and the Mutsu. Like that. Saves us a bit of money. Though the Mutsu is not particularly impressive. Still need to get it in there. So how much for repairing? Repairing is 4 for the A, 5 for the C. Okay, that's expensive. Well then. Guess we're doing this. We're repairing the Mutsu for 5 money. That gives us 6 left. And then we can build a couple of infantry, I guess. That's a Japanese ship. And yes, 2 infantry are completely possible to build. One and a 2. That's not too bad. Well, one of them is, but I guess it can go to Siberia or something. I don't know. Always need something to take losses with, right? And that is it for all the builds. Japan has 0 money left, of course. After that. And then we do return to base phase, which is going to be very simple this time. We move these 2 ships back to Kyoto. One of these days, Umetsu is going to cross the ocean. I could just ship him with an air transport, but that means that I need to use my aircraft rebase, so I'll probably do that sooner or later. The Italian transport goes back home to Toronto. Taranto, not Toronto. Toronto is somewhere else. And this guy goes to London. And that is all the return to basing we have. Because it's not yet war, is it? And final reorganization phase. So, yep, the ships are fine where they are. The only reorganization we have to do is in China, where the lines are solidifying, slowly but surely. It's been taking a while, hasn't it? This is gonna be, this is the tricky part here. The line here, Xi'an, down to the border with French Indochina, as it were. Just not quite enough Chinese troops to hold this line. But that is a concern for a later term, isn't it? So, this is where we wrap up this January-February 1939 turn. 4 major powers increased their military spending. No attacks in China this turn either, as units shuffled around and got into position to either defend or attack along the line of contact between China and Japan. And that is it for now. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time in March and April of 1939, and we will follow this war until the bitter end, as it were, which is going to be, you know, a long time coming, as it were. Thanks for watching. See you next time.